When you made the difficult decision to go from being in the gang to being a police officer, right? Were these feelings that started to culminate and strengthen as time went on? Like you felt guilt and like over the bad things you were doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's normal to feel guilt, but I learned to bury it away, compartmentalize it, store it away, and not think about it and just move forward. So that's how I handle it. Because if you feel guilt and you dwell over it and it's something that you replay in your mind over and over again, it may lead a person to, turn to drugs, alcohol, or whatever form of addiction to escape from it. Maybe even suicide. Some people can't live with the guilt. Doesn't mean I don't have a conscience. Everyone has their own way of handling things.
But are you healing from the situation or are you just burying it deep inside so that you don't have to deal with it?
You know what? You're like a psychiatrist.
Because I could tell that you're a really traditional old school Asian guy where it's like, you know, just put your head down, keep working, and like, like the trauma that you've endured and stuff like that, like you don't really talk about it. And it's, it's a actual thing in the culture that a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got me. You got me. You understand it.
Yeah.
You understand the culture. Yeah, I just plowed through. Why look back? Right? Why look back? I mean, it helps when I'm like, easier for me to write about it than talk about it.
Got you. Okay.
Some tough questions you're asking. You should be a psychiatrist. Yeah.
All right. So what did you want to share?
Well, I've never shared this openly with anyone, but I'll share it for the first time in public with you. Like I said, it's easier for me to write about it than to talk about it. So it's something that maybe you could, something how I express myself, I wouldn't call it poetry because I'm just an amateur. I never took any poetry or any poetry classes, but it's just a verse that I wrote. And for me, it's about change for the better. How do you change for the better? Is you need to realize what you're doing is wrong. If you don't realize what you're doing is wrong, you're not going to take that first step to make that change. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
It could be with anything. It could be with any form of addiction, whether you have an addiction to shopping, gambling, alcohol, whatever, drugs. You need to realize that, wait a minute, I have a problem here. If you don't think you have a problem, you're not going to change. So realization is the key. And that's a piece that I wrote. Let me bring this up.
Great.
Realization is the key. The change is within me. They tried to break me, but they made me. They bullied me till they feared me. Did they create me? I ask myself daily. Need to be ruthless to defeat my enemies. Place my victim in a predicament. Bam, bam, he was out in a moment. Took my Fifth Amendment, was a challenge to the government. Was I a product of my environment? Use my clout to take you out. In too deep, can't get out. Filled with anger and hate, step back, think, and evaluate. Channel my energy away from my enemy. Otherwise, it'll cost me. Taking you out wasn't my style. Now you're just another case file. Everyone's a gangster with an ambition till they're under federal investigation. Then comes realization. The streets lost its seduction. Power of Rico ain't no joke, bro. Even if you lay low, feds control the show. Pell Street, Mott Street, Canal Street took us to the easy streets. Feds ultimately got us beat. Hopelessness in America brought my friends to Attica. Young with no direction, had all the wrong intentions. Now they pay back to society, who put them in solitary. Born with a clean slate, gangster was my fate. Sucked into a life of crime, prepared to do time. They shaped my mind, now I freed my mind. I left behind the life of crime. Life threw me a curveball, fell into a free fall. I managed to leave it all. Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, Fuk Ching, we're all one of the same. In every gangster, there's a thing. It's a dream to go legit. Give me an opportunity, you must admit, I make a good fit. Watch me rise to the occasion. Witness my signs of ambition. I can even defend a nation. Time served is my redemption. Fighting for inner peace while carrying a piece is not going to work while you're still hitting the streets. Cross the line, risk doing time, now avoiding setbacks and any attacks. Opportunities weren't available, made my dreams impossible. Had to take from you what you won't let me do. All I wanted is live like you. KHB, AUB, Bloods, Crips, they're just like me. Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, Fuk Ching, no longer our thing. One mistake is all it takes to raise the stakes. Life is a gamble, takes discipline to handle. Otherwise, you're living your life in shambles. Get out while you can. Don't want to spend life in the can. OGs who went legit was a young gangster who decided to quit.
I know you're very modest, so you're saying that it's not poetry, but it very much is. So I think you've been spending a lot of time with China Mac, anyways. You know, I think you might be put on a beat real soon, and you might rap that. No, but honestly, that was beautiful because I'm familiar with your story, so I see how much that encompasses everything. You know, and the line that very stood out a lot to me too, though, was everyone's a gangster until you're under investigation. Some you said something along those lines, right? And it's so true, especially in the hip hop community. You know, so I think that a lot of people that hear that, man, it's like, you know how everyone says, oh, there's no snitching rule and stuff like that until you get into that room. And then a lot of people throw that out the window, you know? So it's, man, I'm really thankful and grateful that you shared that. I think that, second book, maybe you should write a poetry book, man. I don't know. It was amazing. It really was.
Amateurish, but
no, I could tell that it means a lot to you too. There's a lot of emotion behind it, you know, and I think that the viewers are going to really appreciate that. So thank you so much for sharing that, Mike. Did you feel like you betrayed your brothers when you finally became a police officer?
If you look at the timeline, gangs were done, decimated. No more Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, Fuk Ching, all gone by around 94. It's gone.
And you became a police officer in 96?
95.
95.
Dismantled. They called me in 93. I turned it down. Then they called me again. 95. I went in. 94 was gone.
Now, you said it was really difficult to tell Diamond and Uncle Louie, your mentor, right? What was that interaction like when you finally told them that you had became an officer?
Oh, yeah, that was there's not too many people I'm really close with, but I was really close with this Italian guy, Uncle Louie. Yeah. And yeah, there's because he was like a father figure to me, you know, like a mentor. I spent a lot of time with him. spend more time with him than my own father. He's an elderly guy. He paved the way for me to start my own business in the car service industry. And back then, Italian mob controlled everything from the car service business, the private carding business, trucking business, everything. They had their hands on everything. And yeah, he was taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. So for me to break the news to him, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And also it wasn't easy for me to break the news to Diamond. I mean, if you watch my channel and if you read my book, Diamond is a black guy and he was all about that life, gangster. He's pure gangster. But me and him had a close bond. So he knew, I wasn't a snitch. So, I mean, but for me to tell him, I had to tell him in person because he got deported and I had to fly over there, tell him in person. And I told Uncle Louis in person as well. And the reaction that I got from them, it meant how much they trusted me. I mean, for them to accept it. I mean, because generally guys in that life, and all about that life, no, it's a no. But it goes to show you how close we were. I was closer to them than a lot of the guys in my own gang. I even named my pool hall after Diamond.
They couldn't believe it at first, right? They thought that like you were doing it as a way to be crooked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess you read the book thoroughly. You really
So so what was the conversations like afterwards? Were they still it was still like natural, it was still okay, it wasn't like any like I'm on guard with anything I say to you?
well, no, we're never on guard with each other. We're never on guard with each other. Me and Diamond, no. No, we're not on guard. No, he knows. He, for the longest time, he thinks, oh, that you infiltrated the NYPD. That's what's going on. The longest time he could. I told him no, man. It's up and up. I'm telling you no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it took him many years. Yeah, he said, yeah, it was a hard pill to swallow, man. For a guy like him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was all about that life. I mean, there's a lot of stories that I cut out. I guess because you can only fit so much in a book.
Right.
250 pages, 300 pages, and like 1,000 pages. Got crazy stories with Diamond. You know, he had a big score of like gotta be over $500,000. He went down to DC to rob Rayful Eden guys for a drug heist, and it was done with military grade, fully automatic Mark 10. There was two of them that basically fell off the truck. They actually arrested the guy who sold him the gun. It was fully automatic. They took it down to DC, did a robbery.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, they fired a lot of shots with that gun. The military actually came to look for those guns over there in Vanderveer. They don't call it Vanderveer anymore. I think they call it Flatbush Gardens now, the housing development over there. It wasn't the FBI or the Secret Service or the NYPD. They sent the military. They wanted those guns back at all costs. Yep. And then there's so many stories. Yeah.
When
Lot of
you
shootings.
became Oh, sorry, go ahead.
A lot of shootings over there by Flatbush back in those days. Yeah.
When you became an officer, did they not know your history as a criminal, or they wanted you because they knew that you knew the inside world?
No, 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 no. They did their investigation on me. They did. I'm not going to go into details about that. I do have a lot of respect for the NYPD. They do their due diligence on the applicants. So remember, back then we didn't have social media.
Right.
There's only so much you can find out about a person. And don't forget, I was the owner of Diamond Billiards, which is 6,000 square feet pool hall. I was the owner of a car service, on-time car service, which I built up from 2 cars all the way up to 12 cars, and it was a successful business. I had 3 retail stores. 3 retail stores, one at the Junction, one on Avenue U, Brooklyn, and one in Sunset Park. So I was running all these businesses.
And gambling houses too.
Yeah, yeah. But the gambling house is in the basement of one of the establishments on Avenue U, and I would have people come in as a customer, but they go on the side entrance and go down to the basement, and I would have a runner to go out there and do things to keep the traffic flow to a limit. So back then, if you're gonna investigate me, you're gonna have to follow me. But then I was always dressed in a suit, And the times when I get stopped by cops, even though I'm in a suit, is the times when I'm with a black guy, Diamond. And there's multiple times I got stopped with him, So it's in my book also.
Right.
But I generally don't get stopped by the cops. And if they do follow me, they follow me into my place of business. And of course, you're going to get shady characters coming in and out of it's a pool hall, but that doesn't mean I'm associated with them, right? Unless they do a really deep dive into, maybe phone records. But no, I guess, by that time, the gangs were decimated already. So it was just the right timing as well. Remember, 94, they took everybody. Whoever was a somebody was arrested. Let's put it that way.